Okay, well, welcome back to the Marine Corps Movie Minute. Happy Friday, everybody. We are in the midst of discussing Heartbreak Ridge, 1 minute at a time. Today we're just discussing minute 42. I failed to introduce ourselves again. This is Brian Lockhart,
Jack Perry.
and we have a special guest with us today,
Yeah.
podcast socialite Alice Lauren.
Hey,
gentlemen.
Thanks
Welcome
for joining
aboard.
us. Yeah, we're happy to have you.
oh, I am just thrilled to be here. No, I really am.
For a movie you know nothing about.
Yeah, that thrill's about to die on the vine. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what did I do?"
I'm a little worried, but then I saw the minute and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's good stuff for everybody in this movie, you know?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just say our minute begins with Gunny and the Recon Platoon reenacting the Tortoise and the Hare. And our minute ends with Gunny manipulating his platoon commander, Lieutenant Ring.
All right, let's dig in.
Well, last minute, which Alice didn't have the benefit of seeing, Gunny took his platoon out for a nice morning PT, and they were afraid Gunny was getting lost and that they were going to end up invading South Carolina because this movie takes place at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, although it was filmed in Southern California.
Yeah.
So the Marines of Recon decide that they've had about enough of Gunny just trotting them out through the hot, blazing North Carolina, I say in quotes, sun.
Yeah.
And he said, "Let's smoke this sucker." And they smoke his ass and they just blow right past him. Meanwhile, Gunny just keeps trotting along at his
Yeah.
nice steady paced jog.
with a no, never your mind kind of look on his face. Like,
Yeah.
we ain't done yet, boys. Keep going.
That's where I get the whole Tortoise and the Hare
Yeah.
aspect, because they want to get this over with fast, and he slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
It's the old adage.
Yep. No, I think it's more like, no, boys, we're done when I say we're done. He just kind of keeps going.
Yep. Now, Alice, are you familiar with any of the actors in this movie or in this scene besides Clint Eastwood?
Right, I was like assuming that was the Clint Eastwood was. Well, who else is in this? I didn't recognize anyone. I mean, I barely recognized Clint Eastwood. Like, I was like, is it though?
It is.
Back when he was middle-aged.
Yeah.
Well, one of the main Marines, really the only one of serious note, is Mario Van Peebles. He's the one that says, "Let's smoke this sucker's ass," and he's the one that leads them running past Clint Eastwood there.
That's definitely a name you made up.
I wish I was that quick on my feet to make up a name like that. Well, his character's name's even better. It's Stitch Jones.
Yeah.
Which I never made the connection till just now. That sounds like a very 70s blaxploitation name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very funk.
And we're only, and this movie was filmed in 1986. It takes place in 1983. There was still kind of those type of movies out there then. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this clip didn't look that old. That's why I was like, really? Like, Clint Eastwood's pretty ancient right now, so I was surprised that like this was that long ago. It seemed like maybe a 90s war movie or something like that. So
86.
Yeah, 86. Like, we know because like we're doing the Marine Corps Movie Minute because we were in the Marine Corps, both of us. We were in 95, 96 is when we both came in. So about 10 years after this movie was filmed. So this had like a big influence on why on us, especially me especially. I grew up watching this, and it influenced my decision to join the Marine Corps.
because you can look like that.
Yeah, why not, right? Well, instead I look like the lieutenant, but but we noticed the difference in like the styles, and so it kind of dates the movie a little bit for us. But as far as the actual like filming of it and like content, it is fairly timeless, I would say.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not like watching like a World War II thing or like anything like that. They don't really do anything that kind of paints it into a corner. I mean, you definitely can tell that it's 80s era just from the events, but yeah, it's it holds up pretty well.
You said it like it was North Carolina invading South Carolina. I was like, wait, where is this going?
It's Red Dawn.
Yeah, well, we didn't
Thank
tell you.
you. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was just thinking of. I'm like, this is a historical twisting of the facts, and
So have you ever been to South Carolina?
no.
Okay, yeah, there's absolutely no reason why anybody would ever want to invade that shithole.
Hey, lots of people love Myrtle Beach, especially people from upstate New
Oh,
York.
the white trash
Oh,
paradise.
right?
I like it, but I
What a dream that would have been for me in high school. Yeah.
That's the thing. In high school, I never went to for Myrtle Beach, but so when I was after I got out of the Marine Corps, I used to go to Bike Week all the time for a couple years in a row, and that was a good time. You were kind of joking that Alice that there was like a little juicy minute for you here.
Mhm.
Clearly, some of these guys are in pretty good shape. Not everybody, but a lot of those guys. There's about five. What did we say, Perry? 5 or 6 actors that are in that
yeah,
platoon, and the rest are all real Marines.
yep,
Oh wow.
Yeah, from where they shot, like they just Clint Eastwood hired the Marines on base that they were shooting, and instead of getting extras, he said, let's just put Marines in there, and so a lot of them kind of look the part.
yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. So yesterday I watched the movie Meatballs. I don't know if you're familiar with that Bill Murray
Oh
movie, but
hell yeah,
it was right. Oh, I love it. I'd never seen it, but I was so it was so interesting to read that same concept that they filmed it at a summer camp. It was the real, kids in the background, real Parents' Day. When it was Parents' Day in the movie, it was Parents' Day then. When it was first day of camp, it was a real first day camp. So that's really interesting that they use
I
lots
didn't
around
know
them.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's a great movie.
Oh my gosh.
When the kids get out of school, I always sing "Are You Ready for the Summer?"
Oh.
They don't appreciate it, but it doesn't stop me.
No.
Tell those kids, hey, look, you guys are going to be in a movie. Can we see it? No, actually, you can't.
No.
No,
No.
actually, no, you can't.
I went looking for
Not
like
till you're older.
more camp movies and things like that too, because I was like, I love this. I want to live vicariously. So this is probably the same thing. This is probably your meatballs.
Oh, right.
Because you're living, vicariously. Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have to go run in the hot California. Well, you did, Perry. Perry actually went to boot camp out where these guys were filming.
Yeah.
So he's done some of this stuff.
Yeah. I grew up in a place where they're running on that caliche white dirt road. That's pretty much like a road to my house. I lived out in the country, so and it looks hot. I'm sweating here just watching it.
Yeah.
Well, we've been comparing bits and pieces of this movie to other Bill Murray movies. Have you ever seen Stripes?
No, I haven't.
I don't want to oversell that one because that's one that we like, but I worked
Choke
with
yourself right now.
well, no. I worked with a younger guy, and he had just graduated from college, and we were all of us who had grown up with Stripes were like, "You got to see Stripes. You got to see Stripes. It's a great. You've never seen Stripes? How dare you never see Stripes? Stripes is the best thing ever." So he
Yeah.
finally relented and watched it, but he watched it by himself, and he only did it under pressure. And he's like, "That movie was dumb." We oversold it to him.
Oh my gosh.
But if you like young Bill Murray movies, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great
Right,
one.
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I feel because, like, Meatballs, I feel like he was at his, like, craziest, weirdest, but also, like, had heart. And then I talked about Groundhog Day for the podcast that I'm on and also, like, a different podcast as well. And, like, Groundhog Day, like, on rewatch, I'm like, ooh, like, it's good, but oh god, like, Bill Murray's a miserable bastard. Like, there's no arc, there's no redemption, there's no, and that's, like, apparently a hot take. So I don't know. The jury's out on Bill Murray for me at this point.
See, I love Bill Murray, but you're right. He is a little crotchety in his real life, and a lot of his characters are a bit crotchety at times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the right movie, it works perfect.
yeah. Pete Venkman.
Like in Scrooged,
Yeah.
he's great in that, and that's his whole point is he starts out as because he's Ebenezer Scrooge basically.
Yeah, like I don't think I've seen Caddyshack, but I thought it was Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah,
I was surprised. I was like, wait, that's him? Yeah.
Just like Meatballs, Bill Murray. They asked him to come in, and he was like, "I'll give you like I don't know a couple days," and they weren't sure he was going to show up.
Yeah.
And I think that was the same thing with Caddyshack too. Once they got him there, the story started morphing more around his character, Chevy Chase character, and Rodney Dangerfield. And he originally really wasn't even supposed to be in it that much, but they just kind of retweaked the whole story, and he's in
Oh.
it quite a bit. But yeah, Rodney's really the main guy. Him and Chevy Chase, I guess. Which is another outstanding movie.
Oh
Which is
yeah.
also another Movies by Minute
Right, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like
podcast.
completely derailing, but there's so many movies and I mean so many, ways we can kind of go with this anyway.
Well, Perry and I have never stayed on track very
Oh,
long for
Oh
okay,
any of
no.
this.
good, yeah.
We go off-roading a lot.
Yeah.
Well, especially when I don't really know this movie very well, I'd rather kind of be like, well, what other war movies are there? What
Right.
other, what have I seen Clint Eastwood in? I don't know.
Well, Clint Eastwood was one of my favorite actors,
hmm
and Perry and I have talked a few times about just I keep bringing up the movies that he was in where he's a pit fighter and he hangs out with a orangutan Clyde.
What?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That
There,
sounds like a fever dream. That doesn't sound real.
it's my fever dream, and I love every minute of it. In fact,
It's got Nazi bikers in it, and
yeah, the orangutan beats up the bikers, and oh, it's great.
Oh
There's
boy.
two of them. There's Every Which Way But Loose. I always mess it up. It's Every Which Way But Loose, and it's supposed to be a comedy, but there's a drama aspect to it
Oh
because
my God, there's him with a monkey on the poster.
yeah. The first movie has got some good bits to it, like what's her name? The mom from the vacation movies with Beverly D'Angelo. She's in
yeah.
it, and that's actually one of her first. I think is one of her first roles.
Yeah,
Or
I was
stuff.
gonna say she was in something else. Yeah.
But it's a there's a lot of funny bits in it, but the heavy stuff is really heavy, and it's makes it not fun. It's like because there's just like Clint Eastwood had a habit in the late 70s and 80s of putting Sandra Locke, his girlfriend, in every movie they were in.
Mhm.
So it's like a love story between them, but she's like a con artist. Spoiler alert.
No.
And she's terrible. And it breaks his heart, and the movie's ends on a down note, and you're like, "Holy shit, this was supposed to be a comedy, and now I'm sad." But then they did a sequel, Any Which Way You Can, which is far superior, and it turns out she felt bad for the way she treated him, so she came back into his life, and now it's the fun, rollicking, comedy that you would expect it to be when Clint Eastwood was hanging out with a monkey, you know.
Yeah.
And they're beating up bikers, and the bikers are morons, and he fights this massive man who just kills people in the ring. They're pit fighters basically. Oh, it's a great movie.
Just trying to imagine him doing comedy, and I
Well,
guess he'd be like the straight man, obviously, but like, oh my goodness.
yeah, he basically is, but he's done he's done all sorts of movies like
They aren't just like the westerns,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, well, he's done everything from like Bridges of Madison County, where it's like should be on Lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, someone was trying to explain that movie to me, where I was like, I thought it was about Ruby Bridges, because but just from the name, I think
Yeah.
someone was trying to explain it to me. I don't on a different podcast, but
Yeah.
still have to. Yeah, I heard that's a classic. Yeah.
My mom loves it. Let's put it like that. So
Oh my gosh.
it's one of those Clint Eastwoods where like Clint Eastwood movies where my mom likes it. My dad not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo.
He'll stick to the westerns or Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather watch his son Scott in the Longest Yard. That's more my vibe, the romantic stuff.
Yeah, Scott Eastwood there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to joke that we should so in this movie Clint Eastwood, the reason it's called Heartbreak Ridge
Mhm.
is he was a Korean War veteran, and he fought in the Battle of Heartbreak Ridge, and he won the Congressional Medal of Honor there.
Oh, because that's a good name for a romantic drama too. Sounds like a Nicholas Sparks book.
It does too, and it probably Heartbreak, all those ended like make you feel sad afterwards too, so that would be perfect. We were speculating that they should do a movie not speculating. We were just like talking about they should do a movie sometime and cast Scott Eastwood as young Gunny Highway, young Clint Eastwood from this movie, and be about the actual battle of Heartbreak Ridge.
Mm.
And we were saying, and now that I'll take your idea and add in all these movies have to have like a romantic tie to it,
Yeah,
like
Aggie.
well, even in this movie, he's trying to reconnect with his ex-wife, and there's like what was the movie that with Ben Affleck, Pearl Harbor. Like Pearl Harbor's
Oh yeah.
it's a war movie, but it's all about the relationship between the love triangle between Ben Affleck and the other two leads. So it's like, yeah, we could have like a Nicholas Spark type romance while Gunny's out there fighting in Heartbreak Ridge with Scott Eastwood as the
His
star.
name is really Gunny. Did the person like naming the character just give up? Like,
No, go ahead, Barry.
It's so Gunny. So it's Gunnery Sergeant. It's just a nickname for the rank.
uh,
Yeah, his name's Tom Highway.
She's already sick of our shit. She's like,
Yeah.
enough of this nonsense.
Let's let her just watch
oh
the.
no, I'm like, oh, I'm the stupid one. No.
Yeah, but if you don't know, you don't know, right?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. You want to feel not so stupid. When I was a kid, I had to do like a book report, and my mom gave me this article from like Dear Abby, and I'm reading it, and I kept talking about this woman, Colleen. Colleen did this. Colleen did this, and my mom went to proofread my work, and she's like, "You didn't even try." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I worked really hard on this." And she's like, "Who's Colleen? You didn't even read the article. It was some guy, and he was a colonel, but I misread it as."
I know.
I'm like,
Colonel, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, there's no R in colonel. Like I, like I didn't know. I was 27 years old.
I was thinking about the word colonel, though. I was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know. So yeah. Oh, just last minute, Perry pointed out a line to me that I've been saying wrong for 20 years, 30 years. Yeah, so don't feel bad.
Oh my gosh.
After we get the
Wait, his name is Tom Highway?
Tom
Yeah.
Highway,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. His last name is Highway? I can't. All of this just for his last name is Tom Highway? What kind of name is that?
That's a Clint Eastwood name.
It's a Clint Eastwood name, yeah.
Yeah, well, the thorn in his side is Major Powers, and that's. I didn't know if they were trying to do like Max Power or like when Homer Simpson changed his name, and it was you could do it the hard way, the easy way, the hard way, or the Max Power way, and he said, isn't the hard way and the Max Power way the same thing?
I'm laughing right now at the IMDb like little not like synopsis, but it just says so he clashes with his superiors and his ex-wife as he takes command of a spoiled raccoon platoon. I know it's recon, but like the spoiled raccoon platoon is all that's in my head right now. And that would have been maybe equally as cute as Shirtless Men. I don't know.
Well, he does do movies with animals, as we've already established, so easily could have been raccoons.
Established.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think when you see all these shirtless Marines running, would you say they are what you envision most Marines to look like? If your picture of Marines in your head,
Like really, really hot. Yeah.
or just in shape, or whatever,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would suppose so. I would think the military would be in great shape. I know they obviously worked very, very hard. I have a friend whose sister is going through training right now, and they're telling me about like gas chambers and things that they do. They're like, I'm Jewish, so this is like particularly worrying for me.
Oh Jesus, it's not like that.
Nope.
Like really freaking worrying, and then it's explained, and it's still pretty bad, but
It's interesting, but it's nothing like that.
No.
yeah.
Yeah, you come out and you don't have a sinus problem after you come out of there, though. That's for sure.
No. Every bit of snot your entire family tree has ever had is all going to come out of your head at one time. Oh, it's gross.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not pretty. Well, yeah, I'd ask you about the shirtless Marines and all that, or just what your picture. Because first off, most of these guys running are actual Marines, and instead Mario Van Peebles, the made up name I just made, he's in actually pretty good shape. But
Mhm.
I one time was working with a younger woman, and somehow it was brought to her attention that I was in the Marines. I'm not in the greatest of shape anymore, but I'm not horrible, let's just say. At least at the time. Uh, this quarantine isn't helping. So she goes, "You were a Marine?" I was like, "Yeah, why? What's wrong with that?" She goes, "Oh, I thought they were all like," because I thought they were all buffers and stuff. I said, "What are you trying to say? I'm not buff?" I was messing with her. I said, "What are you saying? I'm not buff?" She goes, "No, no, no. You're fine." She goes, I thought they were like buff, like buff. And I'm like, I go, that's in the movies. I said, and then I pointed out some real skinny guy. I go, most of them look like this guy over
Really?
here.
Yeah, because I think of like very attractive, obviously in shape, but I think of it as like I remember someone who is a military brat was kind of explaining, kind of on the military basis, sort of the hierarchy, and the Marines are at the top. They're sent first, so like, I mean, everyone's brave, but like they are like first responders, so possibly the bravest, So it's just that kind of rough and tough, gruff, brave kind of idea.
Like we're not going to argue with you at all about any of this. In
No,
fact,
I think that's a very astute assessment.
right, keep going. Well, well, if you notice at the end when Gunny goes into his commanding officer, he's kind of a. What do you think of his glasses? They also look like that guy too.
Like that guy too. But he's like he does the paperwork, right?
Right. He's the pencil pusher.
He's the Milton of the Marines now.
Yeah, exactly. Gunny was asking about his stapler, and
Yeah.
I just did Office Space Minute the other day, so I'm like still in that phase. Yeah.
I just discovered at my work I was chatting with a guy who sent an email, and I said, "Hey, did anybody else notice about the guy?" And I mentioned the guy's name, and he goes, "Oh, you mean Milton?"
I love that you just picked up like where that came from as soon as just by the name. Yeah.
Yeah, and immediately I was like, "Oh, so you see it too?" Like, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's totally Milton." So of course we're talking about staplers all night long.
Oh yeah, and then like the commanding right, that's who he speaks to. The commanding officer seemed like he was not the alpha. He was like he didn't really know what he was doing. He was just kind of making excuses. That was something I was noticing. Kind of, it's like he should not be leading. Like yeah, the power should have been shifted.
Well, we always, they mentioned it in the movie earlier, but we've kind of joked ourselves too that is these guys when somebody's fresh out into the Marine Corps, they call them boot. They're a boot. Well, that's the same thing for like the officers as well. They may be in charge, but their boot is all get out. Gunny Highway's been in for 20 some odd years. This guy's probably been in for like 2.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, Gunny's not going to take a lot of guff from him, even though he has to, even though
Follow his
that's his
orders.
boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He goes in to ask for permission to freelance the men. So basically, take it on his own accord to train them how he sees fit. And since the lieutenant said, "Well, there's nothing on the training schedule," yes, and he gets all excited. "You want me to join you?" And Gunny immediately shuts that down. "Well, you're probably busy." And he said, "Well, actually, I do have this."
Yeah.
So, and that happens. That stuff happens all the time too,
Yeah.
as far as kind of the senior. They're called staff NCOs, kind of manipulating or kind of putting the new lieutenants in their place if needed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this guy in this movie is clearly infatuated with Clint Eastwood's character as far as his because of his war record and his chest full of ribbons that he has. The dude's got nothing but medals on his uniform, and this guy was quite impressed with him when he first met him.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to point one more thing out about this minute proper about when the Marines run and they blow by Gunny. he just keeps going past them. You can hear under one of their breath they say asshole.
Yeah.
And you can barely hear it, but somebody else, and I actually, this is another case where I put the DVD and put on subtitles. Somebody said Geritol,
Ah,
and I wasn't sure what they meant, and they said, what did they put in his Geritol?"
well, how old was Clint at this point then?
He's about 56 or 57 years old, I think.
What?
He was
Oh
born,
my
oh, he's
god.
56 years old. He was born in 1950. No,
Wow.
19,
I know he's 89 now, but
yeah,
oh my
sorry. He
god.
was born, yeah, I'm 1950 is not correct because he was born in 1930. So he would have been 56 at this time. Which there is a mountain of a man that will be in this movie later,
Oh yeah.
and he was a NFL football player at the time, and he's just enormous. And I've been following him on Instagram, and he was talking about how at the time he's now the age Clint Eastwood was, and of course this guy's in phenomenal shape still.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really have a lot more else for this minute. I did, I've exhausted all my notes. It's really just them running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more, yeah, not as much dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah, there really isn't. We're getting into some of the, as we Perry and I have talked about, we're getting into the meat of Gunny meeting his platoon and actually starting to turn this ragtag. They're like the bad news bears of the Marine Corps.
Mhm.
And he's going to start trying to turn them into an actual fighting force, life
Mhm.
takers and heartbreakers, as he calls them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This minute definitely kind of gave me that push to actually see the movie.
Oh, you'll love it. It's
That
fun.
definitely piqued my interest. Is it funny at all? I guess that's kind of my like
No, it is
important
funny.
thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I told Billy when we first started doing this, this is as close as the Marine Corps would ever get to a movie like Stripes. Being that you've never seen Stripes,
Mhm.
it's going to be a tough comparison. However, you should probably watch Stripes too.
Okay.
But no, this it's pretty good. It does have some funny stuff in it, but it is hard. It is a Marine War movie,
Mhm.
but as you see what happens, but it's a good movie. It's entertaining. I wouldn't say it's factual completely.
Mhm.
No,
It's no, it's not actually at all factual.
they take real life events.
Yeah.
The battle that they have at the end really happened, but most of the stuff that happened in real life happened. The Army paratroopers actually did it, and it was not the Marines. As a matter of fact, when I was doing research for this movie, there was Heartbreak Ridge was a Army battle, not a Marine battle as well. I found some articles back from '86 when this movie came out, where some veterans of the Army were upset. They thought it was both more or less being like stolen valor. In fact, I worked with a guy who was in the army, and he was with the paratrooper unit. And I would talk about this movie, and he'd say he'd always say that was stolen valor, and we'd always go back and forth about that. I said, well, nobody wants to watch a movie about the army. They want to
No.
watch a movie about it was
Marine.
just talking crap to each other. So as Perry said, it's funny, but it is an action movie, but with
Right.
funny bits in it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a comedy per se.
Right, but it's kind of like my favorite when I watch like the Marvel movies are kind of like the Iron Man and like the newer, Thor movies where they've been injecting more comedy as they've gotten gotten
Yeah,
Right,
along there kind of, but it's not a comedy movie, but like
it is a
right.
it
funny.
still
Yeah,
has
it's a funny
silly
action
things.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably more on the along the lines of like maybe the first Iron Man, where that was treated as a serious film, but there was a little bit of
Funny stuff.
gags there.
Yeah.
Wisecracking, yeah.
Yeah, like the part with Gunny running by the platoon after they tried to like I don't know even what they were trying to like intimidate him, I guess, and he clearly wasn't. That was
Yeah.
meant to be a little bit of business as far as a little bit of comedy. There are other lines that are blatantly meant to be, haha, that's supposed to make me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. So you don't have to know too much about the military to really
Nah.
enjoy this movie. Maybe it helps, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's probably better to watch this movie if you don't know anything about, especially the Marine Corps. I think that's actually It would be a better statement to say that. So knowing nothing, you can probably enjoy the movie because our first instincts now that we've seen it, even though we love the movie, it's the pick apart stuff that we see.
We're
It's
gonna
not
be
that's
too
not
critical,
accurate.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still kind of it doesn't really ruin the enjoyment of the film because this movie is great. It's a lot of fun to watch, but it's just having lived this life, you see stuff you're like, no, that's bullshit. No, this is bullshit. No, they would never act like that. And then you also see stuff that is like real Marines. You see real Marines, you can just pick them out. It's weird, but we're picking them out. Like, nope, they was actually a real Marine. Okay, cool. So,
It's been a lot of good fodder for us so far as some of the comedy that we've taken from it or the enjoyment of picking some of these things out.
yeah.
If neither one of you have anything else specifically about this minute, then we can maybe start to wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't think really specifically. I was just going to say, like, besides this, what are like other favorite war movies? Not to like send you off on another hour of
Oh, no, no.
everything, but
Well, Perry, you want to take that first, and then I'll maybe throw some out there.
Yeah. So war movies. Do you want factual war movies, or do you want just strictly for entertainment?
um, I mean, I guess both. I'd hope if they were factual, they were fun to watch. Well, not fun to watch, but like, interesting.
From HBO. So Band of Brothers is incredible.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
second that. Yep.
Yep. Generation Kill, which was also on HBO, and that one is as close to a representation of modern day Marines as I've seen. It was also another mini series.
Yeah, it was a mini series, but
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Is the most of the really good war movies end up being about the army, for whatever
Mm.
reason. Um, but I mean, hell, I'll watch anything. Hell, I had what was it, Battleship on the other day, and I enjoy the hell out of it. And it's nonsense.
Like with
Uh,
Rihanna?
What's
yeah,
that?
that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
The one
with
with
Rihanna.
Rihanna?
yeah.
About the game? Yeah.
Yeah, about the board game. Yeah, I'm like, what? Yeah, yeah. When they put it out, I watched it, and it's a fun movie. I mean, you feel yourself getting dumber by the second watching it,
Yeah.
but it is fun for it's 2 hours of nonsense. It's enjoyable.
Sometimes we need that in this climate, in this
Yeah.
Yeah,
in this sickness that we're
yeah,
going through. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like in order to keep my mind off of the like outbreak and pandemic, I'm watching good happy movies like Platoon. You know.
There's a cool one called Final Countdown. It's a Navy movie. It's bullshit. I mean, it's a sci-fi movie, but it's
But yeah, tell her it's about time travel.
yeah,
But
it's about a aircraft carrier that gets taken back to the like a couple days before Pearl Harbor,
yeah.
modern day
Mm.
aircraft carrier. So that's a pretty cool movie.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, they like deal with the dilemma of whether or not they should interfere, basically, because a modern day aircraft carrier could take out most of
Everything.
yeah, that's a neat one.
Mhm.
I always liked Black Hawk Down, which is
Oh, that was
about the
incredible. Yep.
Somalia that happened in the 90s. It's mostly accurate. Some of the characters are like Josh Hartnett plays three characters in one. Because I read the book
Mhm.
also, and about that was more accurate. But the movie is really good. I highly recommend that one. It's not a happy movie though.
No, no.
Yeah. American Sniper's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah,
think of some of the.
I know. I mean, I don't remember it exactly, but I saw the. Oh gosh, what is it called? The one with Oh, Hurt Locker. That's what I was saying. I was gonna say
That was
Captain
a good
Bigelow.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but you know which one I do like is it's more modern and it takes it's based on a true story. It's the one with Kate Mara where she's like the Marine and she has a canine dog, a war dog, and she's like a bomb disposal person.
Shooter. It looks like. Yeah, Shooter.
Yeah, is it? It's she ends up like fighting to get her dog in real like once she gets out of the military.
I don't
It's
know if I want
really
to see any sad dog movies,
I know
but
that's the thing. It's like a double whammy. It's like a depressing war movie, and it's sad because she misses her dog. It's like Jesus.
oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, but it's a
Yeah.
good movie, and it's a happy ending.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of the older movies too. That because Heartbreak Ridge that's one of my favorite.
Yeah. You know what I didn't like? Was it Down Periscope? Right? Oh,
Oh,
what a film! Yikes.
that's one of those like Naked Gun airplane type
Oh yeah,
aren't
Oh,
really as good as Airplane and Naked Gun.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Naked
no.
Gun, or I'm sorry, Airplane Man. Yeah, those movies ruled.
You might as well watch McHale's Navy. It's like
Yeah,
yeah, they're trying to be funny and they're kind of funny, but not really.
yeah.
I saw that in a theater at a Navy base. Well, what about you, Alice? Is there any war movies that besides Down Periscope that you've seen?
And I hated everything. Yeah, it was like Hurt Locker. I mean, I'm looking at war drama. It's not really about war itself. Like the Book Thief. I believe. I think that one made me cry. Jojo Rabbit. I mean, it's not a war film, but like it was amazing.
I heard that was actually pretty good. I haven't seen it yet.
I want to see that. Well, like I used to like the movie Life is Beautiful, which is about.
Oh yeah, that one too made me cry. Yeah.
But I have no
me,
desire
me
to ever.
and the Jewish films don't get
Yeah.
along. They're, yeah, like or the Boy in the Striped Pajamas, or yeah, all those ones.
Like that stuff like that, like especially like Life is Beautiful. Great movie.
Hmm.
So glad it won like all the awards. I really never want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I've seen Zero Dark 30? Or have I not? Maybe I'm just thinking of Hurt Locker, and I'm like the same director. So I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
I haven't. I don't
yeah,
know.
Zero Dark 30 was another good one.
Yeah, it's real good.
I wish the Marine Corps would make better movies.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some of the Marine movies like that, and a lot of them are just they're not great. Is it Platoon's Marines though? Is it or is that Army?
No, it's Army.
That's Army. See,
Hamburger
Are
Hills
there,
Army.
see,
Yeah.
are there war comedies, war romance? Let's see. Like looking at all the.
yeah, they have a lot of those movies where it's like set during the backdrop of say like World War II,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's like
more
a
of a backdrop,
romance.
atonement.
Yeah, or even like Sound of Music is like that's all
Right.
the war.
Well, yeah, the second half.
Yeah, so.
Technically, all of it.
Or even Gone with the Wind is Civil War,
Mhm.
which actually, some of the Glory is a great movie
Oh yeah.
for Civil War. That's an
Yeah.
awesome movie. And the Gettysburg TNT movie that they did back in the 90s, I guess, outstanding.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about. I was just gonna say Gettysburg is such an interesting place to I've been there on a trip in high school, and like even going to those battlefields and everything was fascinating.
Yeah, my wife went to Gettysburg too. She would every time something that's brought up about the Civil War, she reminds me. Yeah, I took a trip there to Gettysburg when I was in. Is
Went
that?
on like a ghost
Yeah.
walk tour. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a little creepy. Hey kids, this hotel where you're staying might be haunted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not staying in any haunted hotel. That's all I know.
No.
Oh man, that's the one thing that I wanted to do before I left Colorado was stay at the Overlook.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what I have to watch the entire thing of is Full Metal Jacket, because I keep
Oh.
like being shown the scene of all this, the swearing and the, 'cause, I dated someone who was like, I'm gonna quote all the,
God damn it! I was listening off all the the
all
one
the
the Marine Corps
insults,
had me. Yeah. Well, I was saying I just said like the Marine Corps doesn't have any like really good movies, and I completely forgot Full Metal Jacket.
Well, I was gonna bring that up, but I only really like that first half, which is the boot camp.
Yeah, it's like two different movies. It's like the Marine Corps version of From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's about the guys that go to boot camp. Boot camp half the movie, hour and a half into the movie it ends, and then they go to Vietnam, and that's like almost a totally different movie.
Yeah.
Even though some of the same characters are there.
Yep.
And personally, I really enjoy the boot camp stuff. It's funny. Some of it is true to life, and some of it is not. But then just the Vietnam stuff, I'm like, oh, it's such a slog to get through.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, it gets towards. It's like the end of a Mel Brooks movie when they start doing the song and dance number. It's like usually when I'm done watching.
Forrest Gump probably did it better.
Exactly.
What else? Inglorious Bastards. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yep. Anything Tarantino's good.
Yeah. Well, one of the actors in this movie is one of the stars of the original 1970s Inglorious Bastards.
What?
Yeah, it's a
I didn't know it was
remake.
a remake. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's totally different than what Tarantino did, but that same actor, because he was in the original, Tarantino's put him in a couple movies as, bit parts because he
Nice.
liked him. So there's, Heartbreak Ridge has got ties to all sorts of movies we didn't even know.
I know it sounds like the new Hacksaw Ridge. Is it new still? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fairly new. That is another awesome movie because I like that because it was like a different take on it. He wasn't there to fight. He was there to be a medical guy. In
Yep.
fact, he refused to fight. It was really cool.
Mhm.
True story.
A lot's come out recently. Yeah, Dunkirk. What did you think of 1917? I was told don't
Oh,
really watch it if you're not really into like war movies, basically.
Hadn't seen it yet.
I hadn't seen it. I missed it. My son, he's only 12, and he was like, every time we went to the theater to see like a Marvel movie, we'd see the trailer. He's like, we got to see this.
Yeah, I tried to see as many Best Picture like nominees and things that I could see, but I was like, I'm not. Like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, that will be one I will see at some point, but I missed it in the theater this time.
I'll see that. I want to see the new Midway.
Midway was good. I took my son to see that. He enjoyed
Okay.
that. I'm trying to think what I could compare it to. It's better than Pearl Harbor.
Is it the first Midway?
What? Say that again?
The first Midway? Because this is a remake.
It's yes. No, right. I didn't take my son to the 1960s Midway. I took him to the one in 2020.
No, I know that. But you said you tried to compare it to something. Like, would you compare it to the first Midway?
It does remind me a little bit of the Ben Affleck Pearl Harbor movie. So there's a
Okay.
little some of the accents are a little hokey, and then some of the stuff's a little hokey, but it's all based on real life and true events, and the visuals are cool. It's neat. I actually see. I live in North Carolina, and in Wilmington they have the USS North Carolina battleship, which I believe, fought in the Battle of Midway. And in fact, yeah, I did. I looked it up because there was a couple battles that kept coming up throughout this movie, and I pointed out to my son, I'm like, they don't show it, but the USS North Carolina was there, helping these guys or in this battle, and he's like, oh, that's so cool because we've been there and been on it, and like I almost wish they kind of would have focused on some of that stuff a little bit more, because that was such an important real life turning point for the war.
Right. Yep. Major. Well, it was like one of the biggest naval battle in American history.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. So the movie's impressive. I would recommend it. It's not just about the battles itself. It's about the actors, the characters, and real life people. It's good. It's good. It's not going to win an Oscar.
Mhm.
All the good ones don't.
So yeah, sometimes the ones that win, I'm like, what the heck was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll never hear of them again. But meanwhile, like Endgame made all the money in the world and should have
Right.
won.
Well, Parasite was amazing though. That movie, gosh, best
I
movie
haven't
in a
seen
very long time. Yeah, and I'm not like, I mean, not that it was a horror movie, but like I'm a comedy and romance person normally, and so like seeing this, I'm like, oh God, is it gonna be really scary? But I saw it in theaters, and it was just, I mean, best of the year, best in recent years, and I don't even know. It was amazing.
I'll check that one out too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the thing. I with being under lock and key as we are right now, I thought for sure I'd be getting all this extra stuff watched, and I'm actually falling behind on my podcast, and I'm like, this is terrible.
Oh, yeah, I watch like a movie a day. I'm like, what? I watched a crappy movie the other day. I watched A Simple Favor today, which was good, but man.
I went out and watched The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, which is a John Wayne, Lee Marvin, and Jimmy Stewart movie made in the '60s, and my mom watched it all the time because she loves Jimmy Stewart. I'm like, you know what? I like all these guys too. I'm gonna watch it. And to me, it's a really good movie, but it's a black and white '60s movie. It's not for everybody. It's a western.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, this movie is awesome because I love it. And then the next day, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Clue for the 47th time.
Oh my God, I need to see that movie. I need to.
It's one of my sister's favorite movies, and so of course today I'm sitting there sending her all the quotes from the movie, and she, she's picking them up right away. She goes, "Oh, would you watch it again?" It's good. I would recommend that one. Well, folks, I don't have much else for this minute. Do you guys got any other topics you want to cover?
No, I think she adapted to our off-roading strategy pretty well.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. It's nice to be able to listen to somebody that's not Brian.
Perfect. Yes, I like that. With those qualifications, I'll win every time.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're not me.
Oh, yes. I got the part, Mom.
I just didn't have to be this other numbskull. Well, before you go, Alice, do you want to plug anything? Now's your time.
Yes, I would like to plug, well, a couple of my podcasts. So I am a recurring panelist on the Now You've Seen It podcast, which is about, it's about movies. And basically, we have a guest on each episode who has never seen the movie that we're talking about. And we kind of just run through everything, rate the movie, all that kind of cool stuff. We recently recorded my favorite movie, maybe Shrek 2. So Shrek 2 was great. We also have other ones that I've participated in are Watchmen, Scott Pilgrim, Groundhog Day. You can hear my hot take reactions to Die Hard for the first time. Spoiler alert, I do not like it.
Oh.
And everyone's like, yeah, so check that one out. But other ones that I have not seen, but my other panelists have done are Alien, Blade Runner, all those other quintessential movies that you just gotta see. And I have a podcast coming out, I don't know, sometime in the future this year. Greetings from Wonderfall, which is about I'm co-hosting that, and it is about the 2004 Canadian comedy it's called Wonderfalls. And yeah, it's really fun, and I love watching. I watch each episode, and my co-host has seen each episode a million times, so that's been a really fun show and a really fun podcast to be recording. And yeah, if you want to find all my other podcast appearances, I have so many. You can come chat with me on Twitter at AliMezh, ALIMEZH, or you can message me on Facebook. Let me know where you heard me, and we can chat about that. Alice Lauren.
And we're glad you could add us to your list of ever-growing podcasts that you've appeared on.
Oh, I love it. It's the best. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Well, we are the Marine Corps Movie Minute. You can reach us on Facebook at the Marine Corps Movie Minute Podcast. We're the Marine Corps Movie. We have the Facebook group, the Marine Corps Movie Minute Quarter Deck. You can join us there. We're also on Twitter at MCMM_podcast and Instagram. I think we're just Marine Corps Movie Minute Pod. If anybody wants to send us an email, we got a Gmail. Once again, it's Marine Corps Movie Minute at gmail.com. And I also, since it's Friday, always like to send people to the moviesbyminutes.com and look at far superior movies by minutes. And pay special attention to Star Wars Minute. And other than that, Perry, you got anything?
No, man, I think you covered it.
Thanks again, Alice, for joining us. Thanks, Perry, for joining us. And we'll catch you guys on Monday.